So good day everyone. Today I'm going to be making a very sensitive video which is about how to use a toilet. I'm going to be giving you some healthy tips on how to use the toilet. You know, a lot of people will argue with me that they know how to use the toilet. But I know that if I should start asking you some questions now, majority of you will not know how the toilet is being used. So without wasting our time, I'm going to take us to the toilets now on how to use the toilet. So the first thing is this is a toilet, a typical toilet to be precise. So now what usually happens is that let us assume this door is closed. This is the toilet. So the first thing I will do is that if I should want to gain entrance into this toilet, I will first of all, you can see on my right hand, I will touch it and I open it. What just happened now? Contact. I open this place, use my hands to open it. So the next thing is I'm coming inside this place now. So whatsoever I want to do in this toilet, either to urinate or to excrete, the first thing I will do is that I will open the toilet lid. You can see another contact has occurred now. I am opening the lid. That's another contact. So now some of these healthy tips are very important, but a lot of us take it for granted. That is just the truth. And in this video I'm going to give you 6 healthy tips on how to use the toilet. Number 1, you should ensure that this lid is closed all the times except when you are using the toilet. What do I mean by that? Immediately you are done using the toilet, when you've opened like this, you have to close it back. What is the reason, or why are you told to always close it back? Now the reason is, you can see inside this toilet, you can see there's water reserved inside. Now you closing this, you are trying to prevent at least 60% of bacteria getting access out of this place into the environment. Part of which is it will hang on some of these surfaces, all these walls, as you are seeing, all this wall, all this stuff, this handle, this place. You can see all this place. When you are done and you want to wash your hand, you touch here. You can see water will flow out and stuff. So what will happen is that the reason for you closing this is that this is the main, like 90% or 95% of the bacteria that goes around all these surfaces comes out of this place, because this is where you urinate and this is where you pass excretors. So you have to close this all the time. The reason being that you are hindering like over 60% of bacteria from getting access into the environment, of which you can even transfer to either your office or even your bedroom. Yeah. So now, why are we another reason for you closing this toilet is that you have to close it before it is being flushed. Why? Because you know, when there is something we call toilet sneeze. That is all those tiny particles of water that come out as if they are evaporating or stuff. So when this toilet is being flushed, if I should flush it like this, you can see that water is coming out already. So there are some tiny particles of water that are coming out as if they are evaporating, coming out. So you have to close this. As that water is coming out, it is millions of bacteria that are already flushing into the surrounding. And before you discover now, most of all these things will settle on some of these surfaces. They will settle everywhere that we will use our hand contact. And I'm sure majority of you don't wash your hands when you are done using the toilet. So you need to take all these precautions seriously to have a healthy environment. And another thing is, there are some people who are found with this very dirty habit of sitting on the toilet before flushing it. After they are done excreting, they will now sit on the toilet, they will sit on it black, then they will now press the flush. But that is very wrong. You know, thousands of bacteria are hanged already at your bum bum. So if you do not notice that now, before you discover you start having rashes or scratches at your bum bum, these are some of the things that we really need to take precaution about. Like now, let's assume that 1,000 bacteria come out of this toilet now, of which it is usually more after flushing. That is if we refuse to close it. Now what will happen is that it will settle here, it will settle there, and majority of we feel so coming into this toilet now, you feel this toilet is neat enough. Some people will be like, I can even get into the toilet and eat because the toilet is neat. No, don't do that at all, because there is no time you come into the toilet, no matter how neat that toilet is, there are some bacteria hanging around. So never make that mistake. That's why you have to always wash your toilet. Always wash your toilet and make it neat, just as this one is neat all the time. And another thing is, use toilet seat sanitizers. What do I mean by toilet seat sanitizer? This is toilet seat. So something like a sanitizer. Look at this one now. So don't let me recommend any sanitizer, because no brand is absolutely paying me for advertising their product. But there are several sanitizers that one could recommend. Several toilet sanitizers out there. So immediately you get access into your toilet. For you, before sitting on this, you need to get either a tissue paper or toilet roll. Wet it with the toilet sanitizer and rub it at the surface of this seat. That is before sitting on it. And once you are done using the toilet, close it, flush it, and when you are up, then use the wet either tissue paper or serviette or anything to wet it with the sanitizer and also rub it. That is before and after use. Why are you doing that? To keep it safe, so that if in case any other person is not is not sanitizing or sitting on it, sanitizing before sitting on it, that person might be to some extent safe as well. So you have to sanitize it before and after using the toilet. And another thing is proper disposal of waste. I've talked about use of sanitizers and stuff. So another thing is proper disposal of waste. At the entrance of your toilet or beside the toilet, you should have something like, let's say, a dustbin, a waste disposal. Now, most especially ladies, sometimes they are filled with this dirty habit of flushing their parts or dumping it by the side of their toilet. That is very wrong. It helps breed thousands or if not millions of bacteria. It helps breathe it. So you need to at least find a very good way or method of disposing your waste that is not harmful at all. So what is going to happen is that get something very good, like you can permanently a dustbin for the toilet. So just keep it by the side. And once you are done with all these things, all your toiletries, everything, once you are done using, I'm not talking of the one you use to clean your bum, your anus. I mean, after you do that one, obviously you are going to flush it. But all this one of cleaning of surfaces and stuff, it can be hard that you might not be using it to flush. You might not be able to flush it. So anyone you are unable to flush, the ones you are able to flush, fine, you can flush them that are healthy. But the ones you are unable to flush, you just dispose and make sure often you dispose everything. Don't just pile it there for a week or months and let it be there because your dustbin is not full. No, it will breed bacteria there, and from that dustbin it will also go out of the environment. So make sure your toilet is clean and the waste disposal system of your toilet is always good at all times. So another thing I want to talk about is always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. What do I mean by that? Now, I'm tempted to use this hand to scratch myself, but from the beginning of the video, I told you something. I first of all made contact with the handle of the door. I made contact with this toilet lid, and I made contact with this flush button. You can see it is here. So, why is it necessary for me to wash my hands? Because bacteria have already settled on all these things. And it is necessary for me to wash my hand because I already have contact with thousands of bacteria on my hand. And that is the reason why I must have to wash my hand, not just with water, but with soap, and wash it thoroughly. So it is good that I do it that way. And another thing is, after washing your hand, don't just go out with wet hands. Look for something, either a neat towel or a serviette or toilet tissue paper. Just clean, make sure your hands are clean. Do you know the reason why? It is expected. People with wet hands are liable to accommodate or transmit over 10,000 bacteria than people with normal dry hands. So you know that it is obvious that if you study science, you know that bacteria, they thrive more in wet environments or damp places. That's why people who wear singlets or wear boxers and they fail to change it in a day or two, if they are sweating under, they are giving room for bacteria to thrive and to breed well. That's why you have to at least keep your inner self neat at all the times to avoid all these bacteria being harbored or grown in your body or on your hands. And you know, people will just go out like that. They will feel, I'll just wash my hand and stuff. They will just go on shaking people, this and that. You are transferring bacteria, and a lot of people don't know. So you really need to take precaution about all these things. And another point I will have to talk about is the use of you should keep the toilet floor also neat. You can see the way this toilet floor is. You can see the way it is dry. Very dry, very dry. This is how toilet should be all the time. Aside you being at the risk of sliding down to fall, you can see that the friction now is better than when there is water here. If there is water here, I cannot wear my shoe to keep walking on these tiles. It is going to slide, and I'm at high risk to fall at any time. But now the friction is there to hold me. So when the floor is wet, aside you being at the risk to fall, it is another avenue for bacteria to also thrive on damp environment. You know, I told you the other time, wet floors, wet surfaces, wet toilets, tubs and all. Bacteria thrive on all these things. So once you are done using the toilet, it is either you get a mop to clean it up, or you get a broom to always make sure you wipe off the water on the toilet, so that everywhere will always be neat at all the time. Now, the last thing I want to tell us is this. Do you know that 1 gram of human excretors can breed up to 3 million bacteria, or even more, just 1 gram? So a lot of people will feel maybe possibly because I did this, I did that, then they will just be, you know, because the toilet is now, some people will feel this place is wet stuff. Some people will feel this place is neat. But you know that if anybody should use this toilet now, the person is likely to possess, to at least dump trillions of bacteria, depending on the quantity or the quantity of the excretors there. So now, no matter how you flush this toilet, there are still going to be some traces of those bacteria in. So make sure that always when you are using the toilet, it is either sanitized before you use it, sanitize it. If you cannot sanitize it, get a way to maybe stay off, except if it is home use toilet that you know that everybody is fine. But if it is public toilet, for example, what may I do is that, if please shift behind a bit, what may I do that if I should get to any public toilet, the first thing I do is that I will, if it is a public toilet I know that anybody can come here to use, the first thing I do is that if this stuff is closed like this, I will use my leg to open it like this. I hope you understand. If it is closed this way, I will use my leg to open it. You can see that. Why am I using my leg to open it that way? I'm trying to avoid contact, because I know that trillions of bacteria are settled on all this. Because you know that one thing about public toilet is that they don't usually wash it often. They don't even take care of it. Even if they wash it, some people will use ordinary water to wash it without soap, without sanitizer or anything. So I will use my leg to open it gently to avoid contact. And I will never sit. Please come closer. I will never sit comfortably the way I should sit on public toilet. What I do is that I will just stand like this. You can see I'm avoiding contact to the seat. So I will just stand like this. I will use it. So once I am done using it, this is how I will sit, without my skin contacting the surface. So I will sit like that. So at the process of me sitting like this as well, I'm trying to avoid the water that might splash onto my skin, because that is another form of contact of bacteria. I'm avoiding the water that might. So if water might splash, it will either be very minimal or not splash at all. So once I'm done using the toilet, I can spare myself to use a tip of my finger to press the flush button, or to get water from the tap if there is water available, to flush it manually without using the automatic way. So that is how I do it. And these tips have been helping me. So I feel I should encourage people. And another thing is this. There are several people who don't know how to use this button. You know, this is the left and this is the right button. Some, it will be a smaller portion of this, and because this one is equal portion 50-50, but there are some that will be 70-30 or 20-80 depending on how the case may be. So how do you usually know how to use the right button? You know, this is not just here for fancy. Some people will press the two at once, you are wasting water. Some people will press the wrong button for the wrong stuff. So if you should urinate, it is either you press the right or the left button depending on how it is being positioned. So there are some that one is big and one is small. So for the smaller one, if you should urinate, you use the smaller one, because the smaller one releases, the pressure is the same actually, but the quantity of water released if you press one is different from the other. So for the ones that have small and big, the smaller one release at least 3 to 4 liters of water, which is for urine. It's enough for you to use that to flush your urine. So you press the small one, but if you should excrete, the quantity of water released is at least 6 to 9 liters. That is enough to flush any solid waste. So you press the bigger one. So you pressing the two at once, you are releasing 4 plus 7 to 8 liters of water, or 7 to 9 liters of water, depending on how the capacity of this stuff is. So learn how to use it. For this type that is left and right now, if you should use you should urinate now, the one for you to use is this one at the left. But if you should excrete, the one for you to use is this one at the right. That is how a lot of people don't know how to use it, so they just press it like that. And if you have the one that has a key by the side, you just press it down and it will flush. What I do is that I don't touch it at all. I will as well use my leg to press it down, and it will go like that. So when I'm done doing that, while doing this, I will make sure my shoe is clean so that it will not stain it at all. Or it's either I use my barefoot, I will detach myself from my slippers and use my bare foot to press it down. But if it is this, now it will be difficult for you to use it. So what I do is that I will just use my hand press, and once I'm done immediately, I will try as much as possible to get soap and water to wash my hands immediately, because I know that the next thing I can either shake somebody or make body contact with anybody, or even use my hand to rub my face, which is very dangerous for me. So these are more as some of the health tips that we need to employ in washing. In fact, some people, if they should want to wash the toilet, they will be using their bare hands to wash toilet. Very wrong. Public toilet for that matter, even your own home toilet. It is liable that thousands or millions of bacteria have breeded there. So no matter how you wash it, it will be result on your hands. So the best way for you to wash the toilet is put on gloves, then use it to wash. So once you are done, you detach the gloves from your hand, dispose them properly. Then after doing that, you use soap and water to wash your hand. And by doing this, you at least help reduce the contact of bacteria or disease by at least 70%. You've tried your best to at least get a healthy life living. So these are some of the benefits you enjoy on this channel. So if you find this video interesting, kindly hit the subscription button below and help share this video with people you know can benefit also from it. My name is Daniel Elisha Abakam, and this is my YouTube channel, The Shy Talk. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.